alumnus, Mr. Manish Bhattacharya. He is from B.Tech Computer Science 2015. Today is 25th September, which holds utmost importance for all Shobhitians. I, on behalf of Alumni Association, Shobhit University, extend my gratitude and wishes to our Honorable Chancellor, Shri Kumar Shekhar Vijayendra. Happy birthday, sir. You are always been an inspiration and fountain of innovation and ideas. Now, starting with the session, allow me to first introduce you all with Manish. Manish is a security engineer by profession and personal finance evangelist by passion. He has been writing about personal finance since 2016 and spoken on the same at World Forum Meet, Bangalore. He has also given a TEDx talk on personal finance for millennials. He is a part of EF, a London-based accelerator, and is in the process of starting his own company. He is also founder in residence at Entrepreneur First. Welcome, Manish. Thank you for sparing your time.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me. And I just messaged Kumar Sekhar sir on his birthday. So just few minutes back, I visited him on the Facebook. And happy to be here. Happy to answer all the questions. Yeah.
Manish, before starting and moving ahead for the technical session, I would just wish to ask you your journey because it's only 4 years. You have completed your 5 years, I believe. You have completed your B.Tech in 2015. But the benchmarks which you
Yeah.
have set for your juniors, I mean, we always look at you as one of our proud stars from the whole constellation. So, how's the journey been?
So it was a roller coaster ride. I think the college is the most important part of my life so far. And I come from this small town in Bihar called Bhagalpur. And I'm the first engineer from family. So obviously it was a big deal. And uh, because while growing up, we didn't have much money in the house. So I took education loan. I got into college and somehow worked it off in college and paid my education loan during the college. So that was a great journey, and I learned a lot. I learned from my peers. I learned from teachers, and I had a couple of meetings with Vijendra sir, Kumar Sekhar Vijendra sir, which were very inspiring. So overall, it's a journey of a lifetime, and I think I'll remember my college life for the rest of my life. Yeah.
So what was the turning point of your life? I mean, you are one of the speakers of TED Talks, which is one of the most prestigious platform one can have. So, what
Yeah.
was the turning point of your life?
I would say turning point of my life was when Facebook rewarded me $5,000 for helping them with their security. I remember I was in third year and I still had this loan of 3.5 lakh or something, and I reported a security issue to Facebook and got a reward of $5,000, which was approx like 3 lakh something. And the coincidence was it was the exactly the number of amount I had in the loan, and the reward amount was exactly the same amount. So it actually my first earning, like my first big check, went to my education loan, and I think that was a great turning point because I was free after that point. Like I could take risk before without thinking, okay, I have to pay this education loan. So I think the turning point was in the third year of college when I paid my loan through a payment from Facebook. Yeah.
So, how's your college life been? Whether you were a studious student, because teachers were telling me that you are one of the star of the class. So, how's your college life been?
So I was not the topper. I never been the topper through my school life or college life, but I was always in top five, top three. So I graduated, I remember, with 8.45 CGPA. So I think that's decent enough. That decent enough to appear to any interview or cross any application. But I was never the topper because I was doing all these other things apart from studies. So my exam plan was just go there and study during the semester, not on the last day of the exam. So my idea was, okay, you study on an average half an hour or a hour daily, and just go there and write in the exam. You don't have to be like to the most studious person, in the class, because in real life you need much more skills than just bookish knowledge or the education you get from college. So self study is I take more pride in, like you have to do self study and you have to try different things other than academic career. Yeah, and one thing that I remember, I always used to get out of examination room within like half an hour or 45 minutes. So the exam duration was 1 hour, 1.30 minutes. And I used to get out of exam hall at 30 minutes or 45 minutes, because I'm not there to cheat, or I'm not there to like copy from other students. And I can't think of more by sitting ideally in an examination hall. So I remember I used to get out of like 45 minutes or 30 minutes after writing the paper. And that worked out pretty well, I'd say. Yeah.
Yes. So, Manish, coming on the topic today, which is personal finance for Generation Z. First, I would like to ask you
Yeah.
how come a software engineer become a financial advisor?
Okay, so I'm not a financial advisor, so I don't have any degree in finance. But as I told you that I grew up in a humble background in a small city in Bihar, and I had an education loan when I got into college. So money was always a differentiating factor. Like whatever decision I was making in life, money was always there. Okay, you don't have this much money, so you can't do this. So from the day one when I started earning in college, my idea was, okay, I have to remove money as a differentiating factor. Like if I want to take some major decision in life, I don't have to think about money. And the paradox is that if you want to remove money as a decision making factor, you have to be good at money, right? So that's the paradox. You don't want to think about money, but because money is important, you have to learn few things of the trade to understand how you make financial decisions. And mostly it came from my background, because I've never seen this much of money. As I said, I started working in college, and most of my clients were US client. So salary was in dollar, and all this money started coming in, and nobody in my family has invested, or to be very honest, nobody in my family had even paid taxes before me. So all these things were new to me, like how do you manage your money, how do you pay taxes, what to do with extra money. So I started reading about it, and it took me 3 years to get a point to invest in stock market or mutual fund or bonds or PPF, EPF. All these jargons I learned over the period, and I see that all these students or newly people who like migrate from small cities to big city for study or for employment, they don't have this knowledge. Like there is a knowledge gap for these small town students or employees, and I am trying to solve this through my project. I won't call it a company, it's too early to call it a company, but we are running this project to educate people to make right financial decisions. Yeah.
So, right. So, first, throw some light on Generation Z. I mean, not everyone is very much familiar with these generation of people. So, what Generation Z
Yeah.
exactly means?
Someone who is born between 1996 and 2010 is Gen Z, as they call it. And before that, people were called millennials. And I am a millennial kid. I am 90s kid. But people who born after 96 are Generation Z. Yeah.
Then, those people who wish to become entrepreneurs, today's session will be, I mean, advantageous for them because they can understand what is personal finance all about and how you can manage it. So now, please
Yeah.
give those mantras by which you can actually manage those personal finance.
Sure, sure, sure. So if I have to summarize everything, like there is a single funda for personal finance. May spend less than you earn. So that's the as basic as it can get. So most of the time, what happens that you see your friends getting new car or getting new bike or going on vacation, and you start doing the same, irrespective of what's your paycheck is. So first of all, you have to sit down and think of your goal, right? What's your goal in life? Where do you want to be after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? And what's your financial goal? Because you can ignore money, but eventually it will come back. It will come back to haunt you. So there's two things in life that's very important, I feel. First one is health, and second one is money. So you have to be physically fit, mentally fit in order to earn money. And because people talk about health a lot, and very few people talk about money because it's a taboo. Like people don't want to discuss their salary, people don't want to discuss about money, how they're managing it. So the idea is that you have to spend less than what you earn, and there is a proper guideline with the flow. Suppose I had an education loan, so my first criteria should be I have to pay my education loan rather than buying a new car or new bike or new house. So first of all, pay your whatever debt you have, then save some emergency fund. So emergency fund, as the name suggests, it's for emergency. So you save your 6 months of spending in a separate account and you don't touch it, right? So in case of emergency such as any health issue or whenever you're switching job, and the time duration between switching job, for example, you left the job in January and COVID happened and nobody is employing you till March or April. So how do you survive? So then this emergency fund comes in place. Like all the money you have saved, then you can utilize that. Once you have emergency fund, then you start with low risk investment such as FD, PPF, or EPF, or bonds. And when you have sufficient amount in this low risk investment, then you go to mutual fund, which is risky but less risky than stocks. And when you understand the market, then you go to stocks. So the top level is stock, like equity, where you invest in companies like Reliance, TCS, Infosys, or any new company. And the bottom level is that you should start with a low risk investment like FD or PPF. Yeah. And if you don't
Um,
invest, then your money will lose value because of inflation. So inflation, in a simple terms, is like losing power of money. For I can give you an example. If you can buy a T-shirt for 100 rupees in 2010, same T-shirt will cost you 200 rupees in 2020. So the difference of price is inflation, the losing power of money. Yeah.
so because basically people are having ideas or students are having ideas, but because of lack of money, because they do not have money, and and B, they do
Yeah.
not have the awareness how to get that money, right? So
Yeah.
people just Google it, how to invest in stocks and everything. So for those students basically who are your juniors who are just studying, they are having that idea. Personally, I believe business demands idea rather than money. But at the end of the day, that
Yeah.
as you were saying, money actually is the thing which you need. So how can they
Yeah.
overcome from this issue? Because if I'm not having money, how will I invest it or I save it? So is there any way
Yeah.
by which they can start their own venture, or I mean, they can start with their own startups, as government is also offering many things for SMEs and everything. So what do you feel? I mean, especially for engineers or for MBA students.
Yeah, sure. So this is a great question, and as you had introduced me, that I'm not employee anymore because I had this freedom over the years that I can start my own thing. I can do experiment with my own startup or whatever. So the idea of so the whole purpose of wealth or money is to get freedom, to
Right.
have enough money to do your own things, right? And that freedom will come from work, from your skill, and your skill have to be unique skill, right? So if you are learning what everybody else is learning, then you won't get the best job because everybody else is on the same level. And I'll go back to my point of self study. So whatever you are studying in school or B school or business school, you have to learn something extra on the side, like do the self study. Because if a college or institute can train 100 people in the same skill, then these you have to compete with these 100 people when you go to an interview or any kind of job. But if you do some self study or some case study outside the curriculum, then you can differentiate yourself from these 100 people and you can get a higher paying job. And I can totally relate to this because people say, okay, you got lucky, you made money, and then you are talking about investment. But I didn't get lucky, like the lucky per se, because I started working in college. I started working from second year of college. So it took me almost 8 years to reach where I am today, and that freedom came after 8 years of hard work. Like when you work in college, you have to see your curriculum, you have to maintain the minimum attendance, you have to maintain the minimum grade, and at the same time I was working. So try to figure out if you can start as soon as possible, to collect the capital. And the most important thing in life is skill. So if you have a generic skill, you will get a generic job. If you have a good skill or like above average skill, you'll get a above average job. So as simple as that. And you have to do self study, and you have to understand what is the demand in the market. You can't rely 100% on what being taught in the class, because yeah, if a teacher can train 1,000 people, then you have to compete with 1,000 people for a job, right? So that's the point. Like, you have to gain a skill, you have to do self study, you have to understand what is the demand in the market right now, and start working early. Start with as little as possible. So my first job, if I have to give number, I started working at 25,000 rupees per month. So that was my first job. And when I left my job in February 2009, my salary was 3 lakh something. So you see this journey, right? You won't just get out of college and get a 4 lakh, 5 lakh salary. So it's a journey. It's not a destination that, okay, I need a capital, so I'll just wait and get a 1 lakh rupees job. So you have to start with whatever you have. You have to start with whatever you're getting, and the whole idea is that spend less than what you're earning and try to adapt with your salary. Don't compete with your friends or relatives or anyone, like, okay, he got this car or he got this new house, I should get this. You have to be very clear with what your goals are. If you want to start a business, that means you have to save a lot, because that saving will fuel your startup, at least in the early stage. Yeah.
Right. So actually, one more question is there that people wish to start their own, startup or their own business by the time they completed their graduation or their postgrad. So what do you think? Is it important to do job first for few years to gain experience, to gain skills, to understand time management, to understand how to behave? I mean, basic soft skills are also there, and special skills are also there. So, what do you think if a person is capable enough, as you were also earning during your time? So, what is the real? Because students are always get confused between these two things, whether they should work for few years and then they should move to start their own startup, or they can start their own startup.
I would say everyone definitely should work before starting their own venture, because when you work with people, you understand, like, if you are able to work in a team, or if you can take responsibility, or you can deliver product on projects on time. So I didn't start from college. When I say I started working in college, I was working for someone else. I was delivering projects. So I didn't start my own thing. So I started working as a consultant. Then, as I said, I did a job, and job was at very low level, like as starting as fresher as it gets. But I learned a lot of things in the job. So I worked for 3.5 years. So for example, I graduated in 2015, and I worked till February 2019. So 4 years and some month I've worked, and I think most of the learning happened in these 4 years. Like, college was great. Obviously, I learned academic stuff, and how to do C++ and all those programming skills. But the major learning comes in when you work in the market, when you are in the field. So so you have to get into the field, you have to experience how the market is, and you have to understand how people work in real life scenario. Because case studies are great, you can discuss it for 1 hour, you can understand what this company did wrong or what this company did right. But when you get in the field, when you are tasting dirt, when you are getting wounded, so then you learn. Yeah. So the outside definitely, like, start with working for someone else, and having a mentor definitely help, and you find this mentor when you work for someone else. Yeah.
Right. So coming back to the college days, the messages are definitely inspirational, and I've seen through your journey and everything. But coming back to college days, how's the college life been, or what was the most memorable day from your college life, which you always, happy to think about?
So yeah, so college was great, and so I was a day scholar, and I used to sneak in boys' hostel, because there was some birthday party and all those parties I used to miss because I was a day scholar. I used to just live outside college, the road to the national highway. So I used to live in one of those private hostels, and I used to sneak in. So people used to have birthdays, and warden Tyagi sir were very Tyagi sir was very strict, and I used to sneak in, and those were the memorable days. Like I used to celebrate birthdays of friends by sneaking in. And other than that, my most memorable uh, time from college is again the same day, like when Facebook paid the bounty, that $5,000 check I got. So what happened? It was a great deal because I've never seen 1 lakh rupees in my account, like never before. And suddenly I have 3 lakh in my account, and I was like, okay, too much to handle at this point. I'll take a day off. So I didn't go to college on that day. The day I received the message from Facebook that okay, we'll give you $5,000. I didn't go to college, and I received a call from Yogesh Avasti sir, and he said, "Come to the class." And sir, I'm not feeling well. I'm not in the mood to come to the class. No, no, just come for 5 minutes. So he called me, and I was in front of class, and he applauded me, and he said some words of like encouragement in front of class. And I have that picture. Someone clicked the picture from the class that I was right in front of the class with Yogesh sir, and I have this form that I had to submit to Facebook because of the tax, some W9 form something, to receive the payment. And I had that tax paper in my hand, and one side, on the other side, the whole class was sitting clicking pictures, and I was up there with Yogesh sir with the whiteboard. So that's definitely one thing that I remember from college days. Like all the teachers were very supporting, they were very understanding, and yeah, definitely coming back to those days. So so my life is before I paid my education loan and after I paid my education loan, and that's the turning time of my life, and it happened in the third year of my college year.
So, what is the final message which you wish to give to your juniors who are you are motivated and encourage everyone? And but still, what
Yeah.
message you wish to give to your alma mater or to your juniors? Like, how can they? I mean, basically, do their career planning.
So I would say you can't plan a career, because if I would know that okay, I'll do a startup after 5 years, I'll just start a startup. So you can't plan your career. You have to stay the course. You have to try different things, and you have to start with whatever you have, and stay curious. Read lot of books, and do self study. Study successful people, understand how they make decisions, and yeah, try different things. So I would have never been a security engineer, because security, the thing I used to do, it's called bug bounty, and bug bounty is not taught in any college or any school. So yeah, do self study, try different things, or stay curious and read a lot. Yeah.
So thank you, Manish. From I mean, from behalf of the whole Shobhit family, we are so proud, and you motivate everyone from the college, from the university. We always remembers you with so proud, and we are so proud of you. Definitely. Thank you for sparing your time.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me, and it's great to be back to university, and happy to help in any capacity I'm possible. And if anyone wants to reach out, just visit my website. It's called manishbhattacharya.com. You can have my email, whatever social network I have. So all the details are there. Happy to help anyone from university. Just reach out and ask me any question. Yeah.
So Manish, do visit your campus whenever this Corona thing is gone. Do
Sure.
visit your campus.
Yeah.
We would
Yeah.
love to
Sure.
have you, and just chat with you. It's always encouraging and motivating. Be in touch with your juniors and with the current students. And thank you.
Sure.
Stay motivated. Empower others, as the logo says. So, thank you, Manish.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for
Thanks a
attending
lot.
the session. I hope today's session
Yeah.
helped everyone with how to invest their money or how to do this personal financing thing. The best thing is to save a bit from the money you're earning and plan early rather than
Yeah.
wasting, not wasting, but rather than spending 10, 15 years and then start to have something. You can still do that, but start to plan early because money is the thing which you should save and you should invest at the right moment. Thank you, Manish. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Bye.